Patagonia is a wild remote region in the very south of South America where ship expeditions head down to Antarctica. It's marked with glaciers, fjords, lonely mountain ranges, and it's a very windy and harsh place. Nevertheless, it has one of the most beautiful landmarks, and it's famous for the world's best trekkings. We are right now in Chilean Patagonia, situated in a little town called Puerto Natales. We just came back from our 6-day O-trek in the Torres del Paine National Park with amazing landscapes from surreal wild meadows, huge glaciers and emerald lakes. On this second part of the trip, we are headed into the Argentinian side of Patagonia. Therefore, we rented a car and plan to cross the border into Argentina tomorrow to see attractions like world-famous Perito Moreno glacier as well as Mount Fitz Roy. In the end, we finished the trip back in Chile, in Punta Arenas, to see the penguins. According to my friends, this is Chile's best beer. And it's actually very good. It's called Austral. We had rented a small Suzuki Alto, which could apparently measure any roads, and stayed in the hostel Patagonico. The next day we got up very early to get as soon as possible to the Chilean-Argentinian border. It's a beautiful morning here in Puerto Natales and we are heading to the Argentinian border. Let's go. So, first time cruising here on the Chilean roads. Let's go. We got our stamps for Argentina. Made it to Argentina. We made the first 100 kilometers and crossed the border. In Argentina we were welcomed by guanacos as well as small ostriches. Here you have to drive carefully because of animals crossing the road. The Argentinian side was marked by a steppe with large areas covered of yellow grass, currently in autumn. So the first thing here in Argentina is to eat some empanadas. Delicious. We made it finally to the Perito Moreno glacier. It's one of the biggest glaciers here and it looks huge and beautiful. The special thing about this glacier is that it is growing every day 2 meters and yeah, it's quite big, 100 square miles, 4.4 kilometers in width and 75 meters in altitude. What I was asking me observing this majestic landscape was that how could the people back in the Ice Age live, where everything was covered in glaciers, just some hills and the mountains overlooking the ice fields? How did they trespass these glaciers? Did they have specific routes? And how many people died in the crevasses back then? What about living with saber-toothed tigers and mammoths? So many questions I had observing these huge ice masses here. What an incredible glacier, so huge it was. Sometimes I imagine how life could be back in the Ice Age, where everything was covered with glaciers. It's crazy to think about that. Yeah, anyways, it's raining right now for the first time on our trip and we are heading back to El Calafate, where our hotel is. Let's go. We then made it back to El Calafate, situated on a glacier lake, into our hotel for the night, which looked like a western ranch. Most places so far in the south are only made for tourists, as locals usually don't live here, so the places are not very authentic. Still, El Calafate was a very cozy little town. And when in Argentina, at night we went into a parrilleria or a barbecue house and tried their grilled meat, which honestly wasn't that great as I expected. I'm a bit disappointed with the meat, But yeah, anyways, have a good night. Today we are driving to El Chalten, which is around 250 kilometers from here, which is a beautiful mountain village in the middle of the Los Glaciares National Park. It's beautiful weather today again. Again a long drive through these wide endless meadows, always giving attention to guanacos on the road. After a few hours we arrived at the little trekking hotspot of El Chalten, embedded between the hills and on the foots of one of the most beautiful mountains in the area. Just made it to El Chalten, just skipped it to see a waterfall, and as you can see, it's sunny, but it's raining at the same time. There are a lot of grey clouds. Looks beautiful, but now we are heading to a waterfall called Chorrillo del Salto. Let's go. We're doing our first hike here up to a lagoon called Laguna Torre, and maybe from there you can see Fitz Roy, but it's very cloudy right now. Yeah, let's see how the weather is going to be. You can really see that it's autumn right now with this red and orange colors, very beautiful. Late in the afternoon we set out to hike the Laguna Torre hike. Back and forth, incredible 22 kilometers, but we took it slow and enjoyed the surreal landscape around us. Here in Argentina, nature was in full autumn, with the famous reddish trees all around us. It was a cloudy, a bit of a rainy day, but the clouds were already disappearing, slowly giving us new glimpses of the peaks around us. It was a peaceful hike around here in nature. Finally made it here to Laguna Torre. Mount Fitz Roy would be behind this mountain. Tomorrow maybe we're going to see it. But yeah, behind there in the clouds is Cerro Torre. And here is the lagoon with these ice blocks. It's so beautiful. It's quite cold up here. I think this Argentinian part of Patagonia is colder than the one from Chile. I don't know why. Here we made it to the ice. Yeah, everything is covered with ice. Made it back home with an Argentinian beer. Let's try it. Not bad. Good morning. Today we are going to do a hike to Laguna de los Tres. There should be a good view also over Mount Fitz Roy, which we saw yesterday. Only problem, it's going to rain in the afternoon and probably it's going to be in the clouds, but the hike itself, it's very beautiful. A cool fact about El Chalten is that in the indigenous language it means smoking mountain, and the reason is because the Fitz Roy mountain is almost always in the clouds, and yeah, from there comes the name Smoky Mountain. On the way up of this 24-kilometer hike, we got some pretty amazing views of the reddish trees and especially of the beautiful Fitz Roy mountain. We had again very luck with the weather as no cloud could be seen. What an incredible mountain it is, with its pointed peaks and the Emerald Lagoon below. I'm drinking here a beer. It's by far one of the best beers I had, called Patagonia in a 1-liter bottle. So good. Cheers to our last hike here in Patagonia. The weather is so bad right now. We had so much luck. Just like the last 1-2 kilometers it rained and there was so much wind. But now we are cozy here inside our hotel. Yeah, it's raining right now. The wind is strong today. The car is shaking. Wow. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting drive today. Let's go out of this wind hell. We drove back south to El Calafate, and plan was to head in 2 days back down to Punta Arenas, where it all began. In El Calafate we tried the famous mate, which every Argentinian drinks, which is not something for me with its bitterness. I prefer the Argentinian beer.
And it's life, and the point is enjoying.
The next day we headed back to Puerto Natales, crossing the border again, making it back to Chile, where we gave back our rented car without any issues. A bus then took us for the next 3 hours back to Punta Arenas. Made it here to Punta Arenas. Was a very long journey, and yeah, we are here for the penguins, and then our travels are finished. Got up very early today to take a ferry to Isla Magdalena because there are tons of penguins. On our last day we made it with a boat to Isla Magdalena, a little island on the Magellan Strait where penguins come either to breed or to get away from their old feathers. So every year around these months come thousands of these little cute animals where tourists have the possibility to see them. Did you know that these penguins live in monogamous relationships their whole life? It was cute to see them together defending as partners their own territories with their screams, which sounded for me like the ones from donkeys. How could such a cute creature survive this brutal evolution? What little cute creatures these penguins were. With this little excursion to this island, our beautiful travels end here.